G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be covering all the action from the NA East DreamHack Grand Finals that just happened today, and it was one of the most exciting tournaments I've watched in such a long time. We had Clix managing to come out in first place, win his first major tournament in a very long time alongside Deyy, and there is absolutely no argument that they were the best duo today. They absolutely dominated. I want to go through some of their games, why they performed so well, because they even did it against some of the best around the world, and that's what I wanted to talk about as well. We had a fair bit of drama breakdown today between NA East and the different regions like EU. A lot of NA East pros and fans calling for DreamHack to be region locked because they said they were getting griefed by different EU teams. I want to look at that and give my thoughts on it because I actually really like DreamHack not being region locked, but I want to break it down. Are they being griefed, or do they just have teams from different regions dropping on them trying to play their tournament as best as possible, and NA is just not used to that? In case you missed the tournament, like I said, it was one of the most exciting you're going to see in a very long time, and Clix streamed the entire thing. They pretty much sat in top 5 for the whole tournament. It was 8 rounds with 15-minute breaks between every round. This was an almost 6-hour tournament, and it didn't really feel like it with how exciting it was, but on the players, it really did wear on them. But Clix and Deyy kept their composure the whole time. They didn't just have like 2 or 3 really good games and that got them, a whole bunch of points. No, they were consistently really solid. Clix's first game being a 2 elimination 11th, not the best, but after their second game, the 10 elimination 3rd, on the back of Deyy, who just dropped frag after frag endgame. Clix couldn't even understand what was happening. He was just back of top, just being like eliminated, killed. He was absolutely popping off. That pretty much put them in the top 5, and for the rest of the tournament, they never lost the top 5. Unfortunately, they were getting edged out of the top spot by Degen and Ages, who going into the last game had about a 30-point lead on them, but this last game is where Clix and Deyy really cemented just how good they are as a duo. They got a 12 elimination second. Now, it could have almost been the flawless victory. Clix almost had his complete victory lap. Degen and Ages went down early. Kanata and Macwood went down early, and no one could beat them now. The win was in their sights, but they wanted the victory royale as well. But unfortunately, Clix kind of stumbled a little bit. I'll show you the clip.
Right here, box.
Oh,
box.
Oh my god. 2v2, is it 2v2? I think it's 2v2.
We're the best, Clix. We're just the best. Just say
they know they won.
Just say I have 10 kills.
We're the best. We're the fucking best, baby.
He has 10 kills alone. Deyy solo has 10 kills. Oh my god.
Alright, go now.
Oh, he's got the heal off. They win. They straight up. Wait, this is too slow. He's not getting this off. Wait. Does he get this off? He doesn't. Clix! Clix!
Wait, what?
No!
Okay. We still won?
What? You had so many minutes!
It's too early. Good fucking shit.
Oh, he wins. It doesn't matter. He wins the whole tournament. It doesn't matter, but oh my god, no. No! So if you're confused what's going on there, I took it from my stream. I was doing a viewing party today for the grand finals, and thank you for showing up. A whole bunch of you guys did. 10,000 viewers. I cannot thank you guys enough. I know a bunch of you are from my YouTube, but what happened there was Clix took a tick from Storm. He meant to pop the med kit because you've got to be at 90 health to pop the med kit, but unfortunately, it's been around for a while, pretty much since ever, where the med kit takes like 0.1 second to activate after it goes off. So you have to kind of have it popped maybe like half a second before the tick. Unfortunately, Clix didn't do that, so he died without even getting the med kit off with 2 floppers and 5 chug splashes still in his inventory. Either way, it did not matter. They still ended up winning. Those points made no difference whatsoever. It was just such an amusing way to win, and honestly, I feel like it's such a Clix thing to do, to blunder the win at the very end, but have such a good performance and frag out so hard with the amount of kills they had that it just didn't matter. If you guys watched a lot of my videos, you know the predictions I made a few days for who I thought would do well in this tournament. I did have Clix and Deyy picked as a bit of a wild card, but I'm not going to try and pretend they were in my top 3. I did mention they could do well, so very proud of that. But Kanata Macwood came in 3rd at 334 points. We had Stretch and Sav come in 8th on 247, and Scented and Commandment come in 14th at 216. Now, Stretch and Sav is the main one I want to talk about because they've kicked up a bunch of drama, as Stretch always does by being very vocal towards how this DreamHack should be region locked, which if you don't understand, anyone around the world from any region can play in the DreamHack qualifiers, and if you qualify, you can play grand finals. To most people, that makes sense. Even though you're on 100 ping, if you beat other players who are on lower ping in their own region, you're better than them. You should be able to play, and that's where most people stand on it. But there's quite a few pros who have been very vocal about how they don't think other regions should be able to play because they're griefing their games. And I want to investigate that, and I want to talk about it and see what your guys' thoughts on it are. So Stretch and Saf at the end, Stretch ended up tweeting out 8th while being triple conned by an EU team and a random 0-point team. Dope. See you next DreamHack at Tilted as usual. If we look at the teams in the top 50 that qualify for grand finals, it looks like about 5.5 are EU. Don't come at me if I got this wrong. I'm sorry. This is just my best knowledge of it. It looks like going from the lowest to the highest, we have Trulex or Trolux and Jerky. We have Hen and Chapix. We have Refsguard and Scram. We have Benji Fishy, who played with Zayt, but still technically could maybe be counted as EU. We have Tayson and Thomas, and we also have Flick and Tripper. So it looks like that's all that made up the top 50. So not a massive amount, but according to Stretch's tweet, 3 teams of EU were dropping on him at his drop spot, and that's where the drama kind of kicks in, and this is where I want to talk about it. NA East has a really established practice scene with the elite scrims where they always have the top 100 players playing games, usually 6-7 days a week against each other, and they have very established like kind of almost etiquette of where you drop and who drops on who. But then when you have tournaments like this, these EU players aren't nobodies. You're not going to have Tayson and Thomas HD go and land on a single chessboard in the middle of nowhere. They're a good team. They want to go a big PY as well, so they're gonna drop on a good NA East team. And this is where all the drama always breaks down. I mean, Tayson and Thomas HD came 11th. They've actually won a week of the qualifiers of Duo's DreamHack on NA East before. They've proven they have a right to go wherever they want because they can still do well in a tournament. Tayson and Thomas beat so many top tier NA East teams out of their drop spot, and they were contested, and they don't go to Twitter complaining. I love NA East, don't get me wrong. I get why the pros are frustrated because they want to do well. I get that, but I just like the way EU handles things better, where they don't have these just dedicated drop spots like you own dirty docks. Don't get me wrong, there have been instances in the past where teams from other regions have straight up griefed, and I am not going to try and debate that. There have been tournaments where a team qualifies who's in like last place from EU, they decide they have nothing better to do with the tournament, so they just go and grief the top place teams. But at the same time, that happens with teams in their own regions. Stretch went on a Twitter rant today, and he since deleted all the tweets, so I'm not going to name names, calling out a specific team and even the org that team was signed to for dropping on him even though they were in last place and ruining their tournament. So it's not a region specific thing. I think Fortnite needs to try and figure out some kind of a way to stop this, because I understand if you're a last place team and you really need to get good points, maybe you try and alpha up a good POI so you at least have good loot to walk away with. More often than not, it doesn't work. Players who are still struggling and trying to get into the upper tiers as a pro player probably should try to find loot spots that aren't as congested, leave them a little bit more shambles, but learn how to really play and adapt to their play styles, and then try to alpha up a drop spot later on. I think switching up your drop spot to a major POI late in like a 6 or 8 game format isn't going to do much to change your standing on the leaderboard, but is really going to affect the guys at the top. So I get that as well, but I don't even think that's a region specific issue. But NA seems to always fuel this NA-EU beef by targeting EU with these complaints, because Stretch isn't alone. There are so many other pros complaining. You had Creo tweet out, as a region, let's all try our best to qualify EU DreamHack and contest and grief them. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. And then Zayt tweeted out, to be honest, cross-region tournaments could be fine if it isn't a custom, but DreamHack cross-region is just a grief fest. So again, it's not just Stretch who agrees on this, but you can see the trend that it's usually those top tier pros in NA East. And one of the main reasons why I don't think NA does perform as well when it comes to the EU Opens and qualifies is because of the timing. Remember, I'm OCE. EU fans, please don't come at me. I'm not trying to pick favorites between EU versus NA. I do think the practice scene in EU lends them to be better fighters and lends them to not think they have a drop spot claimed as much, because since so many different people are practicing customs in different areas, like you have Baguette French scrims, you might not have a team like Tayson playing in those. But when Tayson makes FNCS, obviously he's going to go a good drop spot. So you don't say that he stole it from you. It's just because he wants to go a drop spot. But at the same time, the timing of when the tournament tournaments are on for EU is not as conducive for NA. So before the comments are all like, EU's just better, NA just sucks, that's why they're complaining. Tournaments that happen very, very early morning for pros, they almost never play. You've heard so many stories of not just NA pros, but EU pros as well, sleeping through tournaments if they're too early. A lot of EU players will play the EU tournaments like they did today with DreamHack and then play the NA tournaments after. Quite a few NA pros aren't going to wake up early for the EU tournaments. Do I think this is a solid 100% definitive reason for why NA pros don't make EU finals a lot? No, but it's definitely a factor as well before you guys start coming at me with that one. But at the same time, again, like Creo just said, I don't agree with this let's go play EU to grief them, but I want to see NA make a good effort to try to actually play the EU DreamHacks and perform and do well, because it would maybe, I don't think it's going to make the debate EU versus NA any better, but it's going to give NA a little bit more of a defense, because right now it's EU players dominating NA tournaments and NA not really doing that much in reverse. But at the same time, these EU players, I don't think they were griefing. I didn't see a single instance in today's tournament when I went back in the replay files of what looked like an EU team deliberately trying to make an NA team do worse. They were just trying to have a good tournament, so they tried to go a good drop spot that happened to have a good NA team at it. The last thing I wanted to talk about, because a lot of you guys have been raising this question, a lot of you guys were confused. I thought Zayt retired, and technically Zayt did retire. I don't think this was a tournament that Zayt was taking particularly seriously. I think his logic here was he's making content, he's doing streams, but DreamHack, he wanted to play with Benji Fishy and have a bit of fun. They just so happened to make grand finals. And a lot of you guys are going to ask, did they do really well? Is Zayt going to make his competitive comeback? And honestly, they did really, really well. They actually won game one to the point where I was thinking in the back of my mind, there's a chance that Zayt could potentially win this whole thing. They were doing really, really solid. So their first game, they managed to pull off a 9 elimination first, as Zayt does best. They took high ground early and they just dominated like they did in the semis. The issue was they ended up going Slurpy Swamps. They ended up dropping on Jack and Acorn, which is obviously a very solid team, a very good fighting team. And if I'm being honest though, it looked like Zayt and Benji Fishy kind of had their match on spawn. But even like I said, in an 8-round format, if you have someone's match and you're winning, let's say 2/3 of the game, that's still not really enough to go on and do well with. So even though they played insanely well, proved that Benji can perform on EU, and Zayt obviously still has it. I mean, he's only been retired for a week. I don't expect him to be washed. They played insanely well out of Slurpy, but they did end up having some issues where they went down mid-game and early end game for a lot of the games. But I wanted to make sure I answered that question and covered it. It looks like Zayt did say on Twitter, go watch Benji Fishy's stream. My PC's having issue. This will be the last tournament that I play. So I guess Zayt is going full content. He had a last bit of taste of competitive. He unfortunately had a game where he got headshot sniped right as he was pushing a fight that led him to tweet out that basically, this is why I quit. Alright guys, that does it for another video. This was the last major tournament we have in NA East anyway, because we got EU DreamHack going on at the moment before we have FNCS. Cash Cups are still going on, and a whole bunch of you guys came from the YouTube to my viewing party. Like I said, we maxed out at over 10,000 viewers. Thank you so much. In case any of you guys are curious, I do stream every single NA East, NA West, and OCE Cash Cups. I'll be watching all of those. For example, the day this video goes out, I will be watching NA East Cash Cups today as well if you want to swing by for that one. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please chuck a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you hadn't. It would mean the world to me. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you agree? Do you think that EU isn't griefing? They're just trying to play, and maybe NA East pros have to get more used to that? If not, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.